Good morning! I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros.
It's a Monday. It's another week. A beautiful week to start anew.
Yes.
Pero sa mga ibang balita, hindi po start anew. Karugtong lang ng last week.
At meron pang mga, iba pang mga other stories.
Oy, at dahil Monday ngayon, may kasama tayo ngayon, Angel.
Yes,
Sino ba kasama natin?
Ikaw.
The Barbarian's Cheesesteak. Ayun, it's a restaurant sa may ano to.
Kumain na kami kanina.
Sa may Kapitolyo.
Saan ba to?
Oo,
okay.
ngayon you have here yung the Ultimate Barbarian Cheesesteak. Then you have, ito yung Ultimate. Ito yung the Barbarian. Ito yung jalapeno, medyo maanghang.
Wow.
Supposedly, yung isang sandwich, good for one person. Pero
Naghati tayong dalawa eh.
tatlo nga tayo naghati, apat tayo
Sarap,
naghati.
sarap.
Malaki siyang malaking serve yun.
Nakakabusog.
Serving yan. So the Barbarian's Cheesesteak ang kasama natin this Monday morning.
Extra cheese.
With extra cheese. Thank you guys for this wonderful treat. Anyway, we're serving you today's headlines.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch.
At least 24 Filipinos in the United States have been deported due to their involvement in illegal activities. Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Eduardo De Vega said the Filipinos were involved in minor criminal activities. Data from the Department of Migrant Workers showed that around 300,000 Filipinos in the U.S. are undocumented. The U.S. Embassy has called on undocumented Filipinos to voluntarily return to the Philippines or start processing their immigration documents ahead of President Donald Trump's planned mass deportation policy.
Yun. Naku, malaki-laki. 24 yan ha.
30?
Na mga, 24.
24?
24 Filipinos deported from the US.
Yung initial, I thought yung sinasabi mo yung up to kung ilan na madedeport siya.
Oo. Pero marami pa rin. Kaya nga sinasabi nila yung dun sa mga undocumented, para iwas gulo na lang din, 'di ba? Punta na kayo kaagad sa embassy natin para maayos yung deportation
Pero
nila. Pero kung yung ikaw naman Pilipino doon, maayos trabaho mo, documented ka naman, 'di ba? Wala ka namang ginagawa.
Actually, sabi nga nila, yung kahit yung mga ibang mga members ng grupo ni or administration ni Donald Trump in their own interview, in their own capacity, what Donald Trump kasi may hopes to achieve here is to yung mga kartel na nagsasmuggle ng tao. Yun ang gusto niya i-eradicate. So that's why he has this hardline stance on, parang drug war ni Duterte, no? Hardline stance on illegal immigrants. But not necessarily meaning lahat tatamaan. Yung mga uunahin niya, yung mga nagsasmuggle ng tao. Tsaka you have to remember, a lot of Filipinos are working, kahit illegal ka, they're working legally. In other words, hindi sila nag-illegal na bagay, hindi sila nag-smuggle, hindi sila nag-drugs. So, and a lot of people work sa Trump Industries. So, kumbaga, parang he'll be lenient with that. They have enough time to voluntarily surrender. If they do so, baka may chance pa daw na in the future makabalik legally. Pero kung na-deport ka at hindi ka sumuko, blacklisted ka na sa US.
Oh, yun ang mahirap no? Kasi marami tayong mga kababayan talaga na pumupunta ng States para, alam mo yun, to have a better future, di ba?
Yeah.
To have that American dream. Pero yun nga, dahil sa pag-upo ni President Donald Trump, talagang magiging stricter daw yung kanilang laws pagdating.
Saka at the end of the day naman, doing things the right way and legal way is the only way to go in life. Diba? Okay.
Ito, usapin naman din tayo. May sasabihin ka pa? Wala
Okay
na,
lang,
sorry.
pinutol mo na
Usapin pa rin naman tayo dito sa US dahil there was no Filipino casualty in the wildfires in Los Angeles, California. That's according to the Foreign Affairs Department. The DFA, though, reported that over 200 Filipinos in LA were affected. They were among those whose houses were burned down by the wildfire. Around 700,000 Filipinos are staying in California in the United States.
Walang Filipino family na kumontak sa amin, sa inyo sa media, or sa LA, na say may missing silang kababayan. Walang Filipino casualty. However, hindi pa na-identify yung 24 or so burnt bodies.
Yun. Kasi 'di ba there are casualties sa 24. Yan sinasabi nga ni Yusek De Vega, wala naman daw Pilipino doon. Pero yun nga, medyo matagal-tagal na 'to nangyayari itong wildfire na 'to. And of course, tinitingnan din of course natin yung environmental impact nito doon sa states, doon sa California specifically, like yung air quality, 'di ba, bumababa na dahil talagang tuloy-tuloy yung mga fires diyan, yung usok, and of course yung mga particles daw ng apoy na 'yan, pwede din mapunta sa sa shore, sa waters, no, which will also affect yung kanilang karagatan doon.
Pero moving forward, ang gusto nila pag-usapan once makarecover na lahat daw and post-mortem starts is yung matagal ng usapin about Altadena and yung Palisades area that they're not really meant to be lived in considering kasi the terrain is very dry, di ba? And it can be cold, it can be hot, pero just the same, very, very dry ang terrain and it just takes a small spark daw to ignite a massive forest fire like this. Kaya sinasabi nila, moving forward, how do we address preventive measures? Tapos, yung response, yung kahinaan ng water.
Yes.
Kasi a massive wildfire, sabay-sabay nag-plug in yung mga firemen sa mga fire hydrant. So, nung sabay-sabay sila, the others, ang hina na ng pressure. They were not able to combat yung mga sunog sa ibang parts ng
Right.
Palisades area.
Kasi lahat sabay-sabay sila.
Sabay-sabay. So,
Kaya
are they really prepared? Ang tanong nila is, this area really prepared to fight a massive fire like this? Kumbaga parang dinesign lang nila yung town na hindi naman mangyayari to
akala nila,
nangyari, di ba?
Pero parang ilang months sila dry yung season dyan, di ba? So ngayon, inaabangan nila yung napipintong pag-ulan within the area. Pero sana naman daw, hindi naman ganun kalakas. Kasi it's going to be a problem as well kung malakas yung ulan tapos massive flood naman yung kanilang kalaban doon. So,
mind you, it doesn't need to be hot para yung area mo siya prone to fires. Pwedeng siyang extremely cold pero dry ang condition mo, 'di ba? Isipin mo yung mga leaves, yung mga bark ng trees na nalalaglag, yung grass na tuyo dahil hindi man umuulan. Di ba before the wildfires happen, ang huling tikim ng ulan daw ng lupa was October.
Yeah, months talaga yung
months
binilang. Talagang super dry yung paligid nila doon. And eventually nga, nagkita na finally si Governor Newsom, ang governor ng California, and President Donald Trump. At nagkamayan sila at nagsabi nga na ready sila na tanggapin kung ano man yung tulong na ibibigay ng Trump administration. For context lang kasi syempre before, alam naman natin ang governor ng California ngayon, si Newsom, is Democrat, from the Democratic Party.
For context then, before we move on, I think it was 6-7 months ago, even before the presidency of Trump, he came out on social media and after looking at LA, sabi niya, this place, this place is prone to fire. Kasi land developer si Trump so nakita na niya yung terrain. Sabi niya, if they don't do something about it or wet the ground, something's gonna happen. And true enough, may nangyari na. So, let's see what happens
Pero
moving
kasi
forward.
diba parang meron din criticism sa kanya ngayon because sinasabi niya, I want voters ID first before we give out help, etc. Si Donald Trump.
Ewan ko, I don't know.
May ganong issue.
Baka kasi may mga issues na hindi taga doon, kumukuha ng aid. Parang gawain natin dito. So, sa ayuda.
Okay.
Alright, in other news, the overseas Filipino worker who died in Kuwait due to alleged coal suffocation was laid to rest on Sunday, January 26. Here's the report.
The remains of Jenny Alvarado, the overseas Filipino worker who allegedly died from coal suffocation in Kuwait, were laid to rest on January 26 in Rodriguez, Rizal.
Pangako namin mabibigyan ka namin ng hustisya.
Napakasakit sa kanya na hindi niya kami nakitang lumaki. Napakasakit din sa aming mga anak na hindi na namin siya makakasama sa aming mga kaarawan. Sa pagtitipon ng Pasko, bagong taon, ito na ang kanyang huling hantungan.
The Department of Migrant Workers is now preparing charges against Jenny's employer for negligence. It is also pursuing legal action against a cargo company responsible for mistakenly swapping her remains with those of a Nepali national.
Yung pamilya nag-fill out na ng mga special power of attorney forms doon sa dalawang kasong sasampa natin doon sa negligence laban sa employer, doon sa smoke inhalation nung Enero 2, and then yung isa yung doon sa service provider doon sa maling pagpapauwi ng labi.
Meanwhile, Jenny's friends in Kuwait revealed that she was mistreated and molested by her employer.
Well, again, yun ay nakadepende sa autopsya. Sa ngayon kasi, we just really need to rely on the science, which is yung autopsya. And of course, kung may mga testigo who will come forward, welcome din yun. But for now, yun ang pinangahawakan natin.
In addition to financial assistance, the DMW and OWA have provided scholarships for Jenny's 5 children. For News 5, I'm Ria Fernandez. We are One News.
Sa
No, kasi
mga-
if I can remember it correctly, nung dumating finally yung tamang cadaver dun sa pamilya, nakita nga nila na may mga parang pasa, 'di ba? Parang may
Ligature marks.
Oo, doon sa
Ligature.
katawan.
mga joint
Sabi
area.
nila, akala ko ba suffocation na, ba't ganito yun nangyari?
Kaya nga at this point, parang masarap kausap dito si si Raquel Fortun. Oo, because 'di ba apparently you can still find some sort of evidence kahit na embalsaman na. So we don't know kung dumating dito na embalsaman na si Jenny or hindi pa, but if you want
Kasi
answers
para sana mapa-autopsy siya.
or ano yung report, talaga nanggagaling doon, kasi ang report sa kanila is asphyxiation suffocation
Oo, dahil ang nagamit daw na pampainit, 'di ba, heater ay uling.
uling.
Oo.
Tatlo silang namatay, di ba?
So, pero sabi nga nila, kahit ano pa, meron ding negligence yung amo doon, yung employer.
Kasi
yun ang
bakit may mga, sabi nila sa may, I don't know sa joints, may mga ligature marks, may mga parang black and blue. So that's very similar daw na
nakatay yung
for someone
wrist.
na nakatali ang wrist area.
Kaya nga, di ba, balikan lang natin yung sinasabi din ni Senator Raffy Tulfo dun sa one of his hearings last week na sabi niya, magkaroon na ng deployment ban dyan sa Kuwait because
Actually,
hindi naman sila sumusunod dun sa mga kasunduan natin.
Kasi yung ibang nations dyan sa Middle East, sumusunod naman I mean, gumaganda na yung condition ng mga lagay na may mga a few issues here and there, but negligible naman. Ito sa Kuwait, parang hindi nag-i-improve yung conditions, working conditions.
Specifically sa mga natin, domestic helpers doon.
Oo.
Kasi sinasabi nga ng Department of Migrant Workers ay hindi lang naman domestic helpers na nagtatrabaho sa Kuwait. There are also laborers there and other workers.
Hindi. Yung mga management, mga engineers, mga okay sila.
Okay. Kaya nga sinasabi nila, teka muna, hinay-hinay muna tayo sa deployment.
Because-
pwede natin pag-usapan yung provision or whatever, kung ano yung deployment ba natin, yung mga domestic helper
Pwedeng
lang
naman,
ba? Or ano,
pwede
kasi
naman
we have a lot of Filipinos
yung
din
sa sinasabi
sa
mo,
Kuwait.
pwede naman hindi blanket deployment.
Yeah, para doon lang. Di ba? Sa mga
for
domestic helpers.
domestic helpers. Kasi madami
Kasi parang hindi na tao yung turing sa kanila.
Kasi madami na tayong ginawa na measures na hindi naman gumagana. Like, huwag i-confiscate yung passport, diba? Reminder. So, surrender mo daw.
Telepono, di ba? Wag
So, kung gusto mo
kukunin.
daw, i-surrender mo yung passport or travel documents mo sa DFA upon entry. Di ba? Para hindi makuha ng workers. But somehow, hindi nag-improve.
Employers,
hindi nag-improve yung kalagayan.
Now, meanwhile, the Philippine Consulate in Hong Kong warns Filipinos against shoplifting. This as some of the involved were Filipino tourists, either suspects or victims. Filipino visitors are reminded to follow local laws and safeguard their belongings. Under Hong Kong's theft ordinance, offenders may face up to 10 years in prison. Oh, 'di ba? May na naman to, kasama na naman to sa damaging reputation ng mga Pilipino sa ibang bansa dahil medyo may involvement ang mga Pinoy daw.
Huwag naman ganyan, mga kababayan. Ano ba naman?
Ano daw kasi tumaas daw ngayon if I'm not mistaken, 2024 yung taon ng tumaas yung mga kaso ng mga shoplifting doon sa Hong Kong.
Okay, most of them go to Hong Kong.
12%.
Most of them go to Hong Kong to try to earn a living, di ba? But kung kulang pa ba, wag na kayo magnakaw.
Oh, I remember that. All right, coming up. For the first time, China uses a high-decibel acoustic device to harass our personnel in the West Philippine Sea.
And Baguio City records its second Mpox case. How does the LGU plan to prevent the further spread of the virus?
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching Brunch here on One News.
Oy,
Today is Monday, so
yes.
happy Monday.
And of course, some greetings from our Facebook page. We have Mig Zebron. First daw siya nag-comment. Si Sang Pokemon Go, good morning daw. Ang lamig daw kaninang, 4 a.m. It was 20. Nung tinignan natin yung temperature check, parang 26, 25 degrees.
Excuse me po?
Simmer Abad, on air daw. Ralph Domingo, attendance check.
Okay, babati muna ako habang umuubo siya. Babati muna ako ha. Dito naman sa Facebook, si Elmo Cardenas, of course, lagi nanonood sa atin from Montalban, Rizal. Si Daisy Cancho, of course, Tita Daisy, Tito Naldi, and Kuya Jopet from Antipolo. And Tita Mirna Almaria of Pasig. And Ria and Almaria visiting from Illinois. Okay, si Ronald Maxey, of course, si Summer Cabrera. Sabi niya, baka daw pwede naman natin siya batuhan.
Ng
Ng
sandwich.
Of course, si Ate Ringo nanonood sa atin. Si
Oy,
Mother
good morning,
Earth,
good morning.
Si, of course, si VJ, di ba, si Hener, yung mga nanonood sa atin. Si Mina Benales, and of course, si Tita Esther Abaya, nanonood din sa atin today. Later on, babati pa tayo na iba pa nating mga...
Yeah, oo. Mahaba pa naman tayo, araw natin.
Alright. A Chinese Coast Guard vessel off the coast of Zambales used a long-range acoustic device to harass the Philippine Coast Guard. Now, PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariala, said the personnel aboard the BRP Cabra experienced deafening noise. This marks the first time China has used a long-range acoustic device in the West Philippine Sea. The CCG ship was reportedly escorted by CCG 5901, also known as the Monster Ship. Oo, ito yung sinasabi nila, first time daw na gumamit ng CCG nitong high acoustic, yung LRAD na tinatawag, no, long range acoustic device, para nga daw maharas yung ating mga yung mga kasama natin sa West Philippine Sea. And normally, this type of device would be used daw for crowd control, no?
Yes,
And talagang nagpo-produce ito ng medyo masakit sa tenga.
This was
and could damage our hearing.
This was used in a rally sa PGMA, which yun ang time na na-water cannon din si Vice President Gingona. So this was used kasi it's a very high frequency daw na it causes, you don't really hear it, pero na ano mo yung pressure sa eardrums mo.
Sound waves.
This was also used by, if you watch the movie, yung kay Tom Hanks, siya yung captain ng isang boat na na-hijack, yung true story.
Yung
Anyway, yung mga boat, there was a time kasi hindi pwede magdala ng armas yung mga barko na nagpa-fly ng mga routes. Captain Phillips. Thank you, Direk. Captain Phillips, bawal po magdala ng baril noon. So what they did was each cargo vessel, meron sila yung high pressure, yung water cannon, and they have this acoustic device. Pag palapit na yung mga pirata, i-on nila yon na bibingi sila. So ito yung ginagamit. At actually, Chinese Coast Guard threatened us with this already last year.
Parang I can remember.
Hindi lang
I also
nagamit.
remember that.
Pero na-threaten tayo.
Oo. Kasi ang ginagawa naman natin on our side, we do hourly radio challenge.
Yes.
Diba? Una doon sa Monster Ship na ngayon umalis na, pinalit nga itong ibang mas maliit pero malaki pa rin sa atin na CCG na vessel dyan sa may West Philippine Sea. So hourly yung ginagawa nating radio challenge to make sure na talagang kinokontest natin yung nila, yung presence nila within our area without our knowledge. Diba? So, isa dun sa mga radio challenge na ginawa, yun ang naging sagot nila, yung LRAD na to, itong sonic device na to.
Oo. And yung ginagawang pressure daw ng Coast Guard natin has worked kasi yung mga ships lumalayo sila. From 56 something nautical miles, naging 90 na ang distansya sa atin.
Pero nung Friday din daw, meron din, kasi I was reading the news about it as well. Nung Friday din daw, meron din na nangyari din na parang harassment dyan. At this time around, yung dun sa mission natin, ng BFAR Research, no, meron silang mission doon sa may Sandy Cay. Tapos may lumapit na mga Chinese Coast Guard at saka PLA Navy na hinaras nga sila.
Yeah.
So 4 daw yung pinadala nila doon na smaller vessel. Tapos apparently may sumunod pang helicopter. Parang ginawa na rin nila yan last year, 'di ba? Na parang mag-capsize pa yung boat natin, 'di ba? Dahil doon sa pressure ng
may mga scientists
hélice
tayo.
ng helicopter.
Tapos
That's what they did daw ng Friday.
Nilalapitan daw sa land yung LEC para mahanginan yung mga
That's what they did daw ng
Yeah.
Friday. So apparently may ganun pa rin din na nangyari dyan. So sunod-sunod pa rin. Kaya nga nung the last time that I talked to Commodore J. Tariela, yung spokesperson ng PCG on West Philippine Sea, sabi ko, kamusta naman po yung mga Filipino fishermen dyan ngayon, 'di ba, doon sa area like sa Baco de Masindok, sa may Zambales, and yung mga marami pumupunta. So far naman daw, although may mga Chinese vessel presence, nakakapangisda pa rin naman daw sila. Wala naman nagiging problem. Pero although, of course, yung mga fishermen natin, meron pa rin silang pangamba na sa gitna ng pangingisda nila, baka mamaya bigla silang maharas or anong mangyari. Kaya as much as possible, dapat nandoon nakabantay sa kanila yung PCG to make sure na walang mangyayari sa kanila, di ba, during yung pangingisda nila doon sa area.
All right. Still on news on national concerns, Defense Chief Gibo Chodoro blames China for suspicion being cast on its citizens. Chodoro said China's intelligence law mandates every Chinese company or citizen to be an intel agent. With that, some Chinese were able to expand criminal syndicate activities like gambling and human trafficking. The DND chief added that they have also been able to assume fake citizenships and identities. This comes after a suspected Chinese spy was arrested by Filipino authorities in Makati City last week.
Actually, yung pag-aresto na yan ng allegedly, 'di ba, na Chinese spy daw, ay sinasabi nga ng mga tao, may call sa Congress na i-amend daw yung natin, yung espionage law. Kasi dun sa espionage law natin, parang it states there na maaari ka lang magkaso, 'di ba, doon sa alleged spy mo kapag during wartime, not in peaceful time. So they want to do that. Tsaka daw taasan yung penalty. Kasi ngayon yata parang 6 months lang.
Pero actually gusto ko to ba interesting sa akin ito, no?
Imprisonment oo.
Gusto ko to basahin yung intelligence law of
Yes.
China
It
requires
says
a
there.
Chinese company or citizen to be an intel agent. It's akin to what they're saying siguro kaya naging issue ang TikTok sa US because although directly hindi siguro spy company ang TikTok, pero what if one day China mandates sa TikTok to, hey, yung mga info ng mga US citizens, padala nyo sa amin. Yun ang nagiging issue siguro ng US. That's why there's security concerns. So,
Ano yan
2017, I wanna read up on this.
2017 intelligence law ng China daw yan. Sinasabi ni Secretary Gibo Chodoro na every Chinese company or citizen to be an agent of the Chinese intelligence establishment. So sabi niya, hindi mo kami masisisi kung lahat na mahuli natin may gato dahil dun sa law ninyo.
Pero that's their right because parang they're telling every citizen of China na maging nationalistic. Oo. But
Balikan natin
to talk more about yung issue natin kanina, we have a PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariela. Commodore, thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Hello, Sir Angelo, Ma'am Angela. Magandang umaga po sa inyong mga taga-subaybay.
Yes, Commodore, tell us more about po yung sa insidente kung saan gumamit ang supposedly ang China Coast Guard, yung acoustic device sa mga... long-range acoustic device sa atin mga personnel.
Well, oo nga, ginamit ng China Coast Guard 3103 ito last Saturday. It's a long-range acoustic device. We released the video. Ang ginamit nilang sound, kunyari, is just an ordinary siren, But when our personnel, when the vessel got closer to our Coast Guard vessel, our personnel who are outside the Coast Guard vessel immediately realized na this is not just an ordinary siren, Dahil naka-experience sila ng pananakit ng pandinig nila and eventually led to their headache. So we already documented this and of course, our crew can attest that this is, they have used long-range acoustic device.
Yes, Commodore, has there been instance in the past na ginawa na rin sa atin to ng Chinese Coast Guard or yung Navy nila using this long-range acoustic device?
Yes, the Chinese Coast Guard has been using this I think last year, there were instances na ginamit nila ito, and even in 2023 as well.
Okay. So, Commodore, kamusta naman po yung mga personnel natin na sakay po ng BRP Cabra nang mangyari nga po itong insidente na ito na nabanggit nyo rin po kanina lamang na sumakit yung ulo nila, kaya na-realize sila this is not an ordinary alarm system?
Well, kung makita mo yung video, no, na inilabas namin, from afar, narinig natin yung siren. And then eventually, as it gets closer, yung crew na nasa labas ng barko, he immediately realized na this is not just an ordinary siren. Bumalik na siya sa loob ng barko. That's the only time that they realized na masakit na yung pandinig nila. But there are no sustained injuries talagang na-report because immediately pumasok sila.
So sa ngayon po as we speak, nandun pa rin po sila sa BRP Cabra?
Yes, BRP Cabra remains to be in the vicinity, in those areas na pinagpapatrolyahan na itong Cabra to prevent the Chinese Coast Guard from getting closer sa Zambales. Mga
Ilang minuto po yung tinagal nitong nitong sonic device na nila na ginamit sa atin?
Well, this is quite long, no? Yung pagdaan niya mismo sa BRP Cabra when she has overtaken BRP Cabra, patuloy yung siren niya. But, kapag pumasok ka naman sa loob ng bridge, no, as long as you do not have a direct exposure dito, yung structure ng barko will prevent you from being affected na itong long-range acoustic device.
Commodore, meron ba mga for example, yung mga crew na nasa labas, may deterrent ba tayo for that? In other words, do they have earmuffs or noise cancellation headgear na pwede nilang masuot habang if ever gawin ulit ito ng Chinese Coast Guard sa atin, ay at least tuloy pa rin ang trabaho nila sa labas?
Well, that can be a possibility na pwede natin gawin, no? But again, ang ginawa lang nila is they went inside the Coast Guard vessel for them not to be exposed dito sa airway.
And then ano po yung nangyari after? Pagdaan wala na po. Ano po yung kina-endingan po nitong sitwasyon na to, yung insidente?
Well, after nilang dumaan, hindi naman na kasi ang mga tropa nga natin, when it went inside, parang what's the point of using long-range acoustic device? Kung wala na rin namang maapektuhan.
Right. But I understand ang PCG po ay nagko-conduct ng hourly radio challenge against Chinese vessel. Can you tell us po, Commodore, kung ano po yung significance nito, gaano ka-importante itong ginagawa natin na hourly radio challenge?
Well, the hourly radio challenge that we're doing, dito sa Chinese Coast Guard is very important. It is important in a way that we are reminding the Chinese crew on board the Chinese Coast Guard vessel that what are they doing is actually illegal, no? And as far as the Coast Guard our Coast Guard is concerned, our actions is in accordance with the international law and the Philippine Maritime Zone Act in particular, no? And even if they are a signatory state to UNCLOS, they are a violator of it and they're not respecting the 2016 arbitral award. Dito sa radio challenge natin, sinasabi din natin what is the exact location of the illegal presence of the Chinese Coast Guard.
Right.
For them to understand that this falls within our own exclusive economic zone. And then secondly, the reason why we are releasing this to the public every day, is for our countrymen, ating mga kababayan, maintindihan din nila na ang posisyon natin sa West Philippine Sea is also guided by this international law, to counter those trolls and misinformation agents na sinasabing we do not have basis in claiming these waters. So with this kind of radio challenge, hindi lamang China ang nililecturean natin dito, but even our Filipino countrymen to understand na ito ay naalinsunod sa UNCLOS at sa Philippine Maritime Zone Act.
Kumbaga parang on record tayo na hindi natin sinasang-ayunan yung kanilang presensya doon without our knowledge. Tama po?
Yes.
Yes, Commodore, I'd like to parang yung radio challenges nyo at saka yung presence po ng mga Coast Guard natin. I heard in a statement from the Coast Guard na may effect daw rin ito sa mga Chinese Coast Guard in a sense na parang hindi na sila ganong kalapit from us, parang lumayo from 50 to 90 nautical miles. Is that correct, Commodore?
Yes. The seamanship skills ng ating mga tropa sa barko was able to outmaneuver itong China Coast Guard vessel for them to be pushed farther away from the coastline of Zambales. Since day one, the closest that they gotten is 54 nautical miles. And as of last night, it went farther as far as 95, 97 nautical miles.
Taking this opportunity na rin, Commodore, na to ask you regarding the incident nung last Friday naman, na nabasa ko rin po ito na apparently Chinese Coast Guard and PLA Navy harassed a BFAR research vessel. Can you tell us more about it? Ano po yung nangyari?
Ang Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources at ang Philippine Coast Guard ay nagsasagawa ng marine scientific survey dito sa Sandy Case 2 and 3. This is the reason why BFAR vessels were for them to bring with them marine scientists and also some instruments that they can use to conduct sand sampling. Ito yung pagkuha ng mga buhangin dito sa Sandy Case 2 and 3. Dahil kung maalala nyo, last year napabalita na etong Sandy case na to ay quite curiously, lumalaki ang area. At tila parang na-dump lang yung mga dead corals dito. So because of this, on a quarterly basis, we are conducting scientific survey over this. And we analyze kung ano talaga ang dahilan ng paglaki niya, whether it's a natural occurrence or there's an intervention na ginagawang pag-dump talaga. What happened last Friday is nung nag-launch na tayo ng ating mga rigid hull inflatable boats, kaya ang ating personnel from Coast Guard and BFAR ay nag-launch din ng speedboats itong Chinese Coast Guard. Ang Chinese Coast Guard at hinarangan nila itong mga rib natin. And then at some point, they also launched, they allowed the PLA Navy helicopter to hover at a very low altitude. Of course, jeopardize the safety of our personnel. Dahil alam naman natin na yung propeller wash niya, kapag ang helicopter ay ganong kababa, it has significant effect dun sa rubber boat na tumatakbo sa gitna ng dagat. Not to mention na may alon to.
Right.
So there's a high possibility na tumaob yung sinasakyang pandagat ng ating mga taga-BFAR and Coast Guard.
So hindi
again,
naman po
these kind of
tumaob.
actions are, yes, hindi naman tumaob.
Okay. So, kamusta naman po sila? Panghuli na lang po. Ano po, after po nung nangyari ng insidente na yun, kamusta po yung ating mga taga-BFAR at saka PCG?
Well, we temporarily suspended itong marine scientific survey natin because they were not able to reach Sandy Case 2 and 3 dahil naharangan sila ng China Coast Guard personnel.
Alright, sige. Patuloy po kami makikipag-coordinate sa inyo regarding the development of this incident. But for the meantime, thank you so much, PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariala.
Maraming salamat po.
Alright, in other news, the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center warns the public against loan scams. The CICC said scammers are offering too good to be true loans with low interest and fast approval. Loan sharks usually offer this through social media and text messages that spoof financial institutions. The agency called on the public to never click links in SMS as banks do not send clickable links. The agency encouraged victims of loan scams to call the Interagency Response Center hotline, that's 1326. Now, MVP Group Chairman Manny V. Pangilinan was the guest of honor and speaker at the Philippine Military Academy Alumni Association Incorporated Annual General Membership Meeting on January 25. Mobile Journal Amy Atienza has the report.
Courage, integrity, loyalty. Yan ang paalala ni Manny V. Pangilinan sa pagbisita niya sa PMA Alumni Association Annual General Meeting.
The Academy's motto is courage, integrity, loyalty, these three great values reverently capture what a soldier does for his country.
The Philippine Military Academy Alumni Association held its annual general membership meeting last January 25. With the theme Advocates of Transformation, Cavaliers Leadership in Action, the organization looked back at the achievements they had in the past year. For many, it was more than just a year of successes, but building stronger camaraderie amid challenges. As part of the ceremony, PMAAI Chairman and CEO Police Brigadier General Raul Gonzalez introduced Manny V. Pangilinan as the lone guest of honor and speaker of the event. MVP shared his humble beginnings, which he hoped to inspire the soldiers to dream even beyond retirement.
My father started out as a messenger of the Philippine National Bank before the war. I began at the bottom, coming to San Diego College with $20,000 in my pockets.
Further, Pangilinan spoke of his fondness for military learnings.
The great generals of history have always fascinated me for their examples of leadership, and I read the biographies looking at attributes which accounted for their success.
Aside from his speech, the businessman also answered questions that highlighted the connection of business to national concerns. The PMAAI Annual General Membership Meeting was held at the Tejeros Hall at Camp General Emilio Aguinaldo in Quezon City. Mobile journalist Amy Achanza, we are One News.
Don't go away because we're not done yet. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News.
All right, Baguio City has confirmed its second case of Mpox. According to the City Health Office, the patient is a 22-year-old male with no travel history outside the country. He experienced flu-like symptoms and rashes on his palms, face, arms, and back. The patient tested positive for Clade 2, a milder variant of Mpox. He is now recovering at home after being discharged from the hospital on January 21. Health officials said 2 identified close contacts are asymptomatic. As of December 2024, the Department of Health reported 52 Mpox cases in the country.
Hindi wala siyang
last week, 1 lang yan. Ngayon, pangalawa.
wala siyang travel history.
Nakuha
Pero
niya dun sa patient 1
ang
nila.
question dito is what local area siya nanggaling sa Philippines? I mean, kasi it's so easy to drive down, punta ka ng Ilocos, La Union, or Tarlac, Pangasinan, di ba? Para
kasi they have a patient 1 dyan, di ba? Last week na.
may patient 1 naman yan. Oo.
So, yon yung mga na close contact niya, nakuha ba nila? Diba?
Pero may may protocol naman sila with that, diba? Meron naman yan in place, yung contact tracing nila.
Ang lamig sa Baguio pa naman.
Oo, Baguio daw, experience 19. But the weekend in the Philippines was hot kasi umiiral yung nung weekend yung easterlies.
Yes.
Pero babalik yung amihan supposedly today onwards. In other news, the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency or CIA says COVID-19 was more likely leaked from a Chinese lab than transmitted by animals. According to the agency, a research-related origin of the COVID-19 pandemic is more likely than a natural origin. The new assessment came after John Ratcliffe was confirmed as the CIA director under the second administration of Donald Trump. In an earlier interview, Ratcliffe said he believes COVID-19 leaked from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. COVID-19 was widely believed to have originated from infected animals sold at a market. Yes, initially, sabi nila mga pangolin or from bats.
Nature in origin ang sabi nila.
But even during the pandemic, nung bago-bago ito, even through the second year of 2021-22, talagang sinasabi nila, there was a strong possibility, it looked like, na it was accidentally leaked from yung sinasabi ng Wuhan Institute of Virology because yung pag-mutate kasi nitong COVID, this one, ang bilis. Parang ito sa very intelligent virus already from the start to begin with.
Pero ano pa lang to ito yung sinasabi nila, yung mataas yung posibilidad, hindi pa naman nila
No. They're investigating.
Investigating pa din. Pero yun nga, syempre, napupoliticize yung ganitong mga findings because of, sabi nila, si Radcliffe was also, was also official under the Trump administration nung first presidency niya. So, sinasabi nila na parang may politics behind it because galit sila sa China, so they're trying to...
Pero
alam ko yun, na nakikita natin sa mga report na babasa natin that there were 2 origins na sinasabi nila na po pwedeng...
Pero politics aside, it's not even the US, another country from Europe said, when the pandemic, in the middle of the pandemic, sabi niya, there's strong indicators that this virus may have been raised up in a lab and released somewhere by accident. They're looking at that possibility.
Kumalat ng Kasi nga yung umpisa, like yung sa report mo, originated from infected animals sold at a market. Yun yung pangolin, di ba?
Yun yung pangolin. There's a market kasi in Wuhan where they eat pangolins and bats. Di ba may pangolin
Kaya nga di ba dumating yung nagkaroon ng mga articles and docus about it na talagang you don't touch yung mga di ba binigyan na tayo ng mga pagkain, ng mga animals sa pangkain, pero wag mo na pakialaman yung mga hindi na para sa'yo. Alright? Let's move on.
Bilang Pilipino, bilang Pilipino.
The Commission on Elections, or Comelec, successfully held mock elections as part of its preparations for the upcoming midterm polls. The mock elections took place in 30 barangays across the country over the weekend. The poll body reported a 100% transmission rate during the mock elections. Under Republic Act number 9369, conducting mock elections is one of the requirements set by the Technical Evaluation Committee before it can certify that the automated election system, or AES, is operating properly, securely, and accurately. Yan, nakapag-move on na ang Comelec kasi hindi sila conduct ng mock elections until, 'di ba, maayos nila yung election management system, yung mga kakandidato doon sa, mga ilalagay nila sa balota.
Okay, natawa lang kasi ako si Aleo Marcos nag-speech pa na nag-withdraw eh. Dahil sa pag-ibig ko sa di ba? 100 gagastusin at dahil diyan. Tapos sa gitna ng salita natawa ako kasi may video yan di ba? Parang hinila na lang siya ni Chairman George.
Tapos na.
Dito na tayo. Parang
Pirmahan mo na. Para matapos na nila yung ginagawa nila. Kasi yun nga, ang sabi ng Comelec ngayon, 1.5 million ballots yung target nilang ma-print per day to be able to catch up doon sa April 14 deadline nila.
That's right.
Kasi nga syempre, di mo naman pwedeng baguhin ang eleksyon, 'di ba? According sa Constitution, yan ang date natin, May 12. Dapat prepared ang Comelec, 'di ba, bago mag-election para doon sa mga balota.
All right. Let's move on to some sad news. The nation mourns the death of Gloria Romero, an icon in the film industry. Gloria's family and friends were present in her wake in Quezon City yesterday. She had an illustrious 7-decade career in the local film industry. Dubbed as the Queen of Philippine cinema, Gloria captivated audiences with unforgettable films. These include Dalagang Ilocana, Tanging Yaman, and Magnifico. Gloria died on Saturday at the age of 91.
Yeah.
Mula dito sa One News family po, nakikiramay kami sa friends and family of the iconic Gloria Romero. I had an opportunity to work
I was
with her
gonna ask you nga.
this last decade. I think it was in the other network. I remember they had to read her lines already kasi hindi na niya mabasa. And then every now and then, nagka-cut kami. And then they'd feed her from the side. Pero my gosh, yung acting niya.
Ganun pa rin.
Hindi nawala ang talas ng acting, blocking niya at lahat. Saka alam niya yung
Saka
continuity
yung ganda
of
ng
character.
mukha talaga niya, classic beauty.
Elegance, diba? Elegance.
Classic beauty talaga.
Regal. Parang
diba?
siya, para makikita mo, parang royal. If there was royal family in the Philippines, si Ma'am Gloria Romero would be the queen.
Pwedeng nahahawig din siya kay Audrey Hepburn, yung mga datingan nila, mga tisay-tisay.
Kamukha mo rin si Ma'am Gloria. Sabi mo Audrey Hepburn, di ba?
Pero hindi, nakikiramay tayo, of course, dun sa family. And of course, sa buong movie industry na talaga nagluluksa ngayon. Sabi nila, if I'm not mistaken, yung wake details, of course, nitong kay Miss Gloria Romero, ay open sa public ng, alam ko, umaga hanggang hapon lang Tapos, that will be today, and then the rest will be private ulit for family. Okay. So,
Ayun. Thank you pala sa friends natin from the Barbarians Cheesesteak for this yummy, sandwiches. They have the Barbarian, they have the Ultimate, and they have jalapeno. Ayan, the Barbarian Cheesesteak.
footlong ba tawag dito, yung bread?
Oh my gosh, it's good for 3 people at the very least.
Pero kung kasing tao...
Pwede nila puntahan tong Barbarian's Cheesesteak.
Saan
They can check out the Barbarian's Cheesesteak Instagram account, Barbarian's Cheesesteak TikTok account nila for more details. Sa may Pasig lang po sila sa Kapitolyo. Ayun, so check it out. Thank you.
Kanina po namin,
Hindi pa nagsimula na. Anyway, that wraps up another day of brunch. And before we go, I'd like to leave everyone with a quote. The sun himself is weak when he first rises and gathers strength and courage as the day gets on. A quote from Charles Dickens.
Yun ang ating quote for today. Okay. Alright, sige. Pero abangan nila, of course, again, may mga iba pa tayong mga news Actually, according to Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, si President Bongbong Marcos has granted clemency kay Mayor Mabilog ng Iloilo City.
Yeah.
Yan yung
Siya
yung umuwi dito
diba siya
from the US, umalis siya, diba?
Yeah,
Natakot siya sa buhay
nadamay siya sa drug war ni PRRD.
Oo, yan yung isa.
Well, it was expected naman when he was testifying already.
Exactly.
Anyway, that wraps up today's episode of Brunch.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro. And
I'm
he's Angelo
Angelo
Castro III. Ay, go. We are One News, all sides, all the time.